All right, this is a fairly gentle practice, so we're just going to start in child's pose. Take your hips to your heels and forehead rests on the floor, and your elbows can rest down on the floor here as well. If child's pose is not comfortable for you, you could tuck your toes under and sit back towards your heels, or you could put a pillow underneath your hips or a bolster. Also, you could simply opt for tabletop or a kneeling position with your forehead resting on a bolster or a chair or a stool. You want to find a position that you can rest in comfortably. So let's try that second option that I mentioned. First, from tabletop, take a moment there and just stay. And this is one of the options that I mentioned, just simply resting in tabletop and catching your breath. And then if you want to add in a sit back, so it's a little like child's pose, but the hips don't go back as deep. Tuck your toes under, and then you just push your hips back towards your heels. And they don't have to go all the way to your heels. They just move in that direction. And in this variation, my head is not on the floor. My head is up. If you have blood pressure issues, untreated blood pressure and unregulated blood pressure, this might be the option for you to keep your head higher than your heart. And it's still a great stretch for your toes and your thighs. And the beauty of this is you can come out of it at any point in time if you feel too much pressure in your joints. All right, so back into tabletop pose. Let's stretch out a little bit. Take your left foot back behind you, straighten out your left leg, and start to press your left heel down towards the floor. And you can use your arms here to press back even more and feel a gentle stretch in the back of your left calf muscles and the heel. And let's switch sides. Left knee back into place, and then stretch your right foot back and press your right heel down towards the floor behind you. And you can lift your chin or lower your chin, and that might adjust the intensity that you're experiencing in the back of your right leg and even maybe into your back muscles. And then the right knee back to the floor. And so as we're warming up here and moving the joints, make sure that your breath is moving slow and steady in and out of your nose. Downward facing dog is the next position that you can explore. Lift your knees up off the ground and bend your knees as much as you need. Lift your heels as much as you need. And then back into tabletop, step your right foot up and we'll come into a lunge. So in this lunge, I'm right on my left knee. And if that's too much pressure directly on the knee, jump that right foot forward a little bit. And hands can be on your hips or hands to your heart. And then I'm just going to play with some joint mobility. So bending the right knee way over the toes, only to as far as you can go comfortably in your joints. And then come back up to a kneeling position. And we're going to do that a couple more times. So now maybe lessen that range of motion. Take it forward as you inhale and back as you exhale. Forward as you inhale and back up as you exhale. And inhale, bend your right knee a little bit more, and then exhale, pull the right knee back a little bit. Twice more. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. And once more, inhale, forward. And exhale, pull your left hip back up over your knee. Hands on your mat. And take your right knee back next to your left knee in tabletop. So downward facing dog again here. And just a brief moment in this. Not taxing your arms or your legs. Again, you can bend those knees as much as you need. If this is a really tough posture for you, have a chair close by so you could put your hands up on a chair seat and come up into the straight leg position. So if I had a chair in front of my mat, instead of hands on the floor, I would simply come up to kneeling, place my palms on the chair seat, and then lift my knees up. Let's do the second side lunge. So back to your tabletop, left foot steps forward. And your legs or a nice little 90-degree bend here in each leg, and then start to play with the mobility. So bend your left knee forward a little bit. You could even lift your left heel up off the floor if that gets too intense on your ankle. And let's pull it back and start to take those dynamic slow movements. So inhale, pull your right hip back up over your right knee. If you feel like you need to situate that left foot farther away from you, scoot it forward. Inhale, bend your left knee, and exhale, pull back. Inhale, kneel forward. Exhale, lunge back. Inhale, and pull it back up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then just one more. Go forward into a deeper lunge, and then pull it back up. Exhale. All right, hands to the floor. And then step forward this time with your right foot into a forward bend. Again, if you've got that chair close by, that would come in handy here. If hanging over your legs hurts your back. Bend your knees, place your hands on your thighs, and inhale, lift your chest open. Exhale, round your spine. Drop your chin. Keep your hands on your thighs. Inhale, open your chest, lift your chin. Exhale, round your spine. So this is just a standing cat-cow with your knees bent. You're welcome to sit in a chair and do this. Inhale, open your chest. We're just articulating the spine and getting the breath to move slow and steady. Exhale, round. Inhale, then lift your head up over your hips and press your legs to straight stand. Find your balance in your feet. Spreading out your toes, rooting down through your heels. Reach your arms. Inhale and exhale. Release your arms. So even if you just lift your arms halfway, it's still work, and it's good exercise for your joints. Inhale again, reach your arms. Exhale, release your arms. Inhale, reach your arms. Exhale, take your hands down. And let's add in some extra movement. Bend your knees now. Inhale, reach your arms. And straighten your legs. Take your hands down, exhale. We'll do that again. Bend your knees. Maybe your arms only come out halfway. Maybe they need to bend at the elbows so your fingers point up. Exhale, press your legs to straight and release your arms. Again, bend your knees, reach your arms, inhale. Exhale, press your legs straight, release your arms down to your sides. Bend your knees, reach your arms, inhale. Exhale, stand. Inhale again, bend your knees, reach your arms. Exhale, stand. So hopefully those hips are getting warmer and your shoulder joints are getting warmer. And we're going to move into some standing poses. And balance. So lift your left heel and step your left foot forward. Just point your toes forward and then take your left foot back and point it back behind you and step it up in line with your right foot. So again, point your toes forward, touch out in front of you. Now lift your right heel, roll back to your right heel and step back next to your right foot. Left foot back. Start to bend your right knee and press your left heel down and then step forward. Okay, so we're going to do that 3 times again. And your arms can be out, elbows bent, hands at hips, or hands to heart. Left foot forward, point your toes, lift your right heel, lean into that left foot. Exhale, roll back to your right heel, step your left leg back. Left foot steps behind you now. Bend your right knee as you press your left heel towards the floor. And then inhale, step forward, back to stand. Okay, left foot forward, point your toes, lift your right heel, you're on the balls of your feet. Roll back to your right heel. First feel that contact, then step your left leg back. Now your left foot steps way behind you, extending your hip. Bend your right knee, press your right heel towards the floor. Inhale back up to stand. And one more time. Left foot forward, Lift your right heel, balance on your toes. Right heel back down. Step back to stand. Step your left foot behind you now. Bend your right knee, press the right heel towards the floor. It doesn't have to touch, it just moves in that direction. And samastitihi. All right, so we'll do the second side. And before we do the second side, reach your arms up, big refreshing inhale. And exhale, release your arms down. You could take that a couple more times. Add in the knee bend. Inhale, reach your arms. And exhale, release your hands down. All right, and then we're going to do the second side. So the right foot, lift the right heel, and just balance there and see how your balance is. So if you're right hand dominant, maybe that first side was easier. This might be more challenging. So we're just going to start by stepping the foot forward and back and testing that first part of the transition. Right foot forward. Take it back next to your left foot. Get your balance and then step your right foot back. And just notice here if one side is easier. This is a very basic, easy movement, but not really. It's so much harder when you break it down and pay attention to exactly how you're performing your basic movements every day, like walking. All right, so hands on hips or heart, right foot forward, lift both heels and roll back down to the left heel. Step your foot next to your right foot next to your left, and then step your right leg back, bend the left knee, take the right heel back and down, and then lift up and press forward, step. Right foot all the way forward, lift your left heel, and back to stand, left heel down, step next to your left foot with your right. Right foot steps back, bend your left knee, press the right heel towards the floor, and then lift your right heel and step up to your left. Again, right foot forward, lift those heels, feel your glutes work. Right foot into center, and then right foot behind, right heel down, left knee bends. Step to stand. Inhale, reach your arms. Exhale, release your hands. Step your feet apart just a little bit wider, and then start to bend your knees, reach your arms up here. So the feet are a little bit wider apart. We're going to forward bend, and take your hands down to your thighs first. Inhale, open your chest like we did in that cat-cow. And then as you exhale, drop your head down and lower your hands down to your shins. Keep your knees bent. Inhale, and then exhale. Maybe you walk your hands down a little lower as you start to lift your knees up and back, moving eventually toward a straight leg. Use a chair under your hands here if the floor just feels way too far away and balance seems unsteady. Bend your knees to lift up. Lift your head first and then your arms, and then press your legs to stand straight. Release your hands. Samastitihi. Again, bend your knees, reach your arms. Inhale. Hands to your thighs. Exhale. This is the first part of the forward bend. Inhale, lift and lengthen. This is the second part. Start to fold here, and maybe your hands come down a little lower towards your shins. Inhale, half lift again. And then as you exhale, drop your chin and lift your knees up as you press your thighs back. Fingers can come to the floor or anything that you've got to elevate the floor. So a stool or chair or blocks. Again, bend your knees to inhale, lift your head, and then lift your arms. And then press your legs to straight, stand, exhale, samastitihi. Reach your arms, inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, hands to thighs, round your spine a little bit. Drop your chin. Inhale, lengthen, lift your chin. Walk your hands down. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, lengthen your back. Pull your knees up just to where they can and press your thigh bones back just to where they can straighten, and then exhale, fold. You could grab opposite elbows here too. And then bend your knees, lift your head, roll up, reach your arms up, press up, release your hands to your side, samastitihi. Just take a moment to find your balance here in your standing position, equal balance between those 2 feet. Step back with your left foot, just like we prepped for, and the left heel can come down at a slight angle, or you could lift your left heel up, but try not to take a huge step back. So I don't have this giant step back and I still have a nice bend in my right knee. And then you can add your arms in. Warrior One. Warrior One is a very great standing pose to work those ankles and leg strength and open your airways for the breath capacity to improve. So if your left heel is comfortable on the floor, push it down and you can let those left toes turn out slightly. If this is really challenging, you can always take your legs a little wider. Inhale as you straighten your leg and rebend the right knee. And then actually exhale, straighten your leg. Let's try that. Exhale, straighten your leg. And then inhale, reach your arms and bend your right knee, because reaching the arms will help open those airways a little bit more. Keep going with this flow. Exhale as you straighten your right leg. Inhale as you bend your right knee and reach your arms. Maybe look up and challenge your balance. If that hurts your neck, look straight out. Triangle is the next pose, Trikonasana. Open your arms and take your right hand down to your thigh. Left hand can come to your hip. So here I'm going to show you, I felt like I needed to widen out my stance a little bit. So I'm going to come up to stand and wiggle my right foot over to the right side of my mat and make this wider so that my feet are more on railroad ties rather than something like a tight wire. And that'll help open those hips and increase that mobility without pain. So you can press your right hand into your right thigh and open your right shoulder. You could press your right hand down into your right shin, or again, if you've got that chair close by, take your right hand to a chair seat. So coming up, inhale, lift, and step forward with your left foot. All right, let's work that on the second side. Right foot steps back, right heel down. So right away, I'm going to wiggle my left foot out to the side, knowing that I really wanted a wider stance there. Options here to lift the right heel or turn the right heel down at a slight angle behind your right toes. Then you can add in the arm reach. If your shoulders are not okay with the arms reaching, then bend your elbows and take goalpost arms. So again, as you exhale, straighten your left leg, pull your hands down to your heart. And then as you inhale, bend your left knee and reach your arms up. This is wonderful exercise for your shoulders, for your upper body, for your lower body, and for your core, as well as your breathing. Keep going. As you exhale, straighten your leg. And as you inhale, rebend your left knee and reach those hands up. When you straighten your leg, hands to heart, fire up that right thigh, and when you bend your knee, press your right foot back down into that floor, whether it's the heel or just the toes. Okay, so after about 3 of those, open your arms, and we'll take this into triangle pose. Your hips will open slightly. And then your right hand can come to your right hip. Take your left hand onto your thigh, and you can look down to your left foot, look out over your left foot, or if you want to look up to the ceiling, you can. Just take your gaze wherever it's safest for your neck and really does not cause any pain. So you want this to feel comfortable. Check in also with both feet to make sure that both feet are equally supportive in your weight and the 2 legs are equally working. And another option for your right arm is to drape your hand behind your back. That provides a great opening for the front of the right shoulder. And again, opening those airways for your breath. Bend your left knee to come up, inhale, and step forward with your right foot. Exhale, Samastiti. All right, reach your arms up, inhale, press through your feet, and exhale, take that easy forward bend, hands down. Start to prepare to come to the floor here. So I'm going to kneel, one knee, and then the other. And go back into this child's pose where I first started, just to check in, relax my body. A couple cat-cows here. Really nice to open up the spine and get out of the back if there was any pain in your low back from that forward bending. So as you inhale, you extend your spine, open your chest. And as you take your next exhale, round your spine and stretch the back out. Drop your chin under. So take just as many of these as your body really craves. You could add in a hip movement side to side, or a shoulder roll around, or a neck roll. And when you're ready, tuck your toes under and revisit the modified version of child's pose here. And you can take your head to the floor if you want, your elbows on the floor. And again, if this is just too intense for you, if it causes any pounding in your head or pressure in your head, then lift your head up higher than your heart. This practice is really good if you experience vertigo and are not happy lying on your back and it just doesn't feel good. Take as much time as you need here then to ground and rest. And if you want to come back into full child's pose, you could flip those toes back and sit hips to heels and rest your arms on the floor out above you. If lying on your back is cozy, go ahead and flip over into Shavasana and take rest, or come up to seated and just enjoy a minute of peace and quiet. As always, at the end of your practice, bow to you and tell yourself, good job and thank you.